Yes, Mr.
Thank you, Chair. Colonel Padayajee, you are displaced for a minute there. Settle down just to make sure you have everything with you. All set? Thank you. Colonel, before we broke for lunch, there were two questions from Commissioner Baloyi and Commissioner Kumalo, and they had requested that you apply your mind to them and you'd provide an answer when we reconvene. Is it safe to assume that you remember the two questions, or would you like them to be restated?
I prefer that it could just be repeated again so that I could answer them.
Okay, thank you. Perhaps Commissioner Baloyi, because that... Yeah.
Let me start, because Commissioner Kumalo was following up on to assist me. You referenced, in an answer to a question from the evidence leader, you reference CAS 404, right?
Correct.
The Orlando Valeria 404, and you said there were discrepancies in there, there were affidavits. Had they looked at that file and done the investigation, they would have found that there were discrepancies in there because and affidavits were altered. You said quite a number of things. And so what Colonel Philip speaks to here is because they didn't do the necessary investigation when they say the docket didn't have anything. You recall that's the background to my question?
Yes.
And I started off by asking, in fact, by saying to you, but I understood your evidence to be that all these dockets, including CAS 404, only had A1 statements in them with nothing more, and those statements were scanty. You remember that kind of background? Yes. So what I wanted to clarify with you is surely you are not criticizing, or you cannot criticize Colonel Phillips for saying that if that is what the docket 404 was about, if CAS 404 had only an A1 statement, which is scanty, and he says because it's scanty and they don't make allegations of who did what did Kumalo do? In fact, this is where the allegation is about Kumalo cover up. That 404 A1 statement doesn't say what General Kumalo is supposed to have done. That is a cover up, okay? You can't criticize him for saying that about an A1 statement, that it's incomplete, therefore it's not helpful. We can't formulate a charge. No charge can be formulated based on this A1 statement. You then say, but he should have investigated. He should have gone to 38, to CAS 38. You remember that's the trend of your evidence.
Yes.
But what I'm putting to you, or what I'm suggesting with you, is that but the complaint that he's commenting about in that block 3 that relates to 404, it's not about CAS 38, it's about CAS 404.
Yes.
That's what he's commenting about.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So that you went and looked at CAS 38, well, it's your decision. You went to investigate a docket 38, but it doesn't make a lie that he comments the way he does about CAS 404, that it had only an A1 statement and that A1 statement was scanty and it didn't provide any details of the allegations and therefore it couldn't be investigated, that General Kumalo interfered and covered up in the way that it is alleged. You understand that? That's all I needed to clarify with you.
Commissioner, I hear your question.
Yes.
And I hear you what I said in the affidavit, which was scanned. It didn't have enough information. And yes, it didn't have enough information, but there had to be investigation. So what I'm coming to here and pointing out here is that in the docket itself, which we got later, which only had an A1, the statement is such that there should be further information gathered from there. But when you look at, just bear with me. When I'm looking at the report that is placed before me, right?
This is the Philip report.
The 292.
Yes.
Same docket 404.
Yes.
And whilst I'm at that point, the 404 is connected to two cases. Two allegations. One is Lushaba, and if you see under...
And 404 says what about Lushaba? What does 404 say about Lushaba?
404, I'm calling it the Lushaba matter, but his name is not here. I know it's the Lushaba matter because I already been there and had the docket with me.
Yes,
so
but,
let's just say,
but what does it say about it? What is the complaint in 404?
yes.
What is the complaint?
The complaint in 404 is that Lieutenant General Kumalo was involved in a cover-up
Yes.
of CAS 38 of 8/2022.
Yes.
When General Lushaba of Crime Intelligence, visual laptop, etc., was taken. So here, the involvement of General Kumalo, you can't pick it up from the statement. You have to go and look at the docket itself to see how did General Kumalo, you go with that in mind. He's talking about a cover-up in a docket. So when you get there and you pull the docket, you draw the docket, you don't find anything of cover-up by General Kumalo. You find a docket that where there is substance that this docket, there was interference with this docket in the sense that there was defeating the ends of justice in this docket. So again, I say it, and for yourself, Commissioner Kumalo, that nothing points to General Kumalo that he interfered with this docket at this stage. When we look at the docket further, we pull out that stuff in the docket, statements in the docket, etc., were interfered with. When we looked further into the docket, we found that there was a disciplinary, when we did further investigations into the docket itself.
Maybe let me try cut it short and hopefully we get to an answer. Are you saying that if Colonel Philip had gone into CAS 38, the docket, CAS 38, he would have found evidence that General Kumalo was involved in a cover-up?
No.
Yes, that's all I wanted to clear with you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No.
I know we took long to get there, but that's really all I wanted to know. What are you faulting about this cover-up complaint? Thank you.
Yes, now I'm with you there. So.
You seem to be missing the substance of the complaint in 404/10/2024. The essence of it is that crime intelligence funds were used to cover up the fact that General Lushaba lost a laptop involved in some other things, and they did this by using crime intelligence monies to buy a new laptop for him and to pay off the sex worker. That is the substance of this case. Because that's on the screen. It's not me coming up with that term. I don't want to use other terms. It's on the screen. So that is the substance of it. Not whether the original docket, there are discrepancies in the dockets, there are statements missing, there are this and that, because that's not what is referred to Idac. What is referred to Idac is abuses at crime intelligence. One of them is this specific incident where there's this cover-up. It's as simple as that.
Yes, Commissioner. Can I go from your question and go into it now? I hear what you say, that this and you referred to the 27, the referral, or where we must act within the boundaries of the 27. So this is my explanation for you, that here is an allegation here with regards to General Kumalo, interference with the docket, right? And we go to the station, we pick up the docket. Now, picking up the docket, it's not showing anywhere when you look into it that General Kumalo factually interfered with this docket
No, that's not even there's no complaint of interference with the docket.
or covered up the docket.
There is a cover-up in relation to that case, and the substance of it is that monies from Secret Service account were used to pay off the sex worker and to purchase the missing laptop. That's the essence of it. Not that he tampered with the original docket or there's anything in that docket.
No,
So you seem to be missing that, what the substance of the complaint, because all these complaints are about crime intelligence and what's referred to Idac. And what's referred to Idac is abuses of crime intelligence monies. And one of the cases cited is this one.
Can I
So
respond?
the simple question is, were monies of crime intelligence used to cover up the loss of the laptop and to pay off the sex worker? That's really it.
Commissioner, I hear your question, and I appreciate the question. Thank you. So what I'm saying, Commissioner, and help me to go forward, I hear what you say, I understand what you say. You're also taking it that with the referral, there's an allegation Secret Service funds money was utilized and General Kumalo covered up this thing. So it says here, in connection with a CAS 38. So looking at this CAS, go to the station, I go to see how or what is here in the allegation. Remember, you're talking about abuse of Secret Service funds, and you're talking about General Kumalo covering up a docket. I'm going on the premise that what cover-up is this? What is this? So I call for the docket. I have a look at the docket, and I can't find anywhere where General Kumalo covered this up yet. When I peruse the document, the docket, I find, but hang on, this docket has been interfered with. Statements have been whatever, etc. So my focus in there, now I asked, Commissioner, because this defeating the ends of justice or this docket doesn't fall within my mandate of let's call it the Act or the 27, do I leave it and go? No. I looked at the docket, I looked further into it, I investigated it. As I went on with the investigation, I looked at a disciplinary report, and I looked at the disciplinary report in comparison to what we found in the docket, and I found that the disciplinary report was actually, the word there is that it was not done properly. So I interviewed. This is followed through with something that I found, which is a crime. I'm following through. Leave the 27, the mandate of Idac, I found a crime. So I interviewed Major General Pinar, and I asked her certain questions, and she didn't come through with those questions. I asked her, did you see the report from the hospital? Because you said that he was drugged. You're conducting a factual report, which you must respond to General Mosekili regarding this matter, because it's been in the media, and there's been, and now I think there was a letter or something that they had to respond to from Ipusa, I think if it was, if I could remember that, where they are querying this, and they're calling it a cover-up. So looking at that, I could say that General Pinar didn't conduct a proper investigation. So I move on, we're coming to the point now.
Let me stop you there. There's no complaint against General Pinar. There's no complaint against investigating officers in that case. The complaint is funds of crime intelligence were used to hide the fact that a laptop is stolen. Because the theft of a laptop, that's the case number in the other case. Not that investigating officers in the original case did something wrong and they must be investigated. And I think that's what you seem to be missing, because you are now investigating Pinar's case and not investigating the referral sent to you. The referral sent to you is limited. It was not an opportunity for you to go fish for other things that Pinar did or did not do right. That's why the original question by Commissioner Baloy was, looking at this docket, and only having an A1 that says funds of crime intelligence were used to buy an extra laptop to hide the fact that a laptop has been stolen. If inspectorate says there's nothing there because I'm not given enough information, you can't criticize him for saying that. Not to say he must go investigate PINAR and check whether PINAR did a good job, because that's not the referral to Idac.
Commissioner, I'm also finding it hard to relate to your question. And I ask, please, that you hear me through until I get to the point, a point at the end. The first of all, as I said, yes, there's a Section 27 referral. Yes, there's a mandate. So I start this part of it where General Kumalo was involved in a cover-up of a docket or cover-up of Lushaba or however it is. So for me, that is a starting point. Colonel Phillip is the inspectorate. He has this complaint with him, or the docket with him. It's a complaint. How did this allegation that General Kumalo covered up a docket? Go to the station, go for the docket, check what is there. Is there a cover up? Did you check the docket? Right? I'm just talking about there.
Can I interrupt you? I don't think we're going to get anywhere, because what you seem to be doing is you are adding a new complaint to this complaint, because you are now saying the allegation is the cover up of a docket. And I've already read to you what the allegation is. It's there on your screen.
Yes.
And because once you say what I was investigating is a cover up of a docket, then you must go to that docket. But the allegation here has nothing to do with the cover up of a docket. And I think that's where we're missing each other, because you seem to be talking about something totally different. And just to sake of progress, I'm going to leave it there and allow Advocate Sillo to ask the questions you wanted to ask. Because the simple point we were making on this document is that the allegation of abuse of secret funds to cover up the theft and to use those funds to buy equipment and to pay off the sex worker. Those are the allegations, not the tampering with the original docket. And your focus now is on the tampering with the original docket. So for the sake of progress, I think I'm going to leave it there.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Commissioner. But I just want to respond. It's twofold. Lieutenant General Kumalo was involved in the cover-up in Valeria Cas 38 of 8, 2002. What is Valeria Cas 38 of 8, 2002? It's a docket. That's that. You're saying it's not. The way I'm understanding you are saying there's nothing to do with covering up of a docket. But I'm reading it from here. It's a docket. The second part of it is monies were used from the Secret Service account to pay a sex worker and new equipment for General Lushaba. That second part of it. So I'm going to restrain myself just to what is here. And when we come to my part of the investigation as to what I did and how further I went to confirm that this indeed happened, that monies from the secret fund was used to buy a new laptop for General Lushaba. But for the purposes of Colonel Phillip, the fact that they wrote this report, and the way they wrote this report, there's nothing there, we didn't find anything here. The fact remains is that you did, from the way I see here, you didn't really try and do something. It's a complaint. And therefore, Commissioner, when we look at it as the South African public that write complaints to the police and sit in vain and wait for years, they get no response, or they get, no, we don't find something there. This is the very thing what I'm talking about. The police don't do proper investigations. We thought about a link, a lead. Follow the link, follow the lead, and see where it takes you. So I'm giving that part of it to give it into context. But when it comes to how I started with a scant affidavit that barely had nothing in it. How I managed to put it together and get to where I am today, I will explain it there, sir. Thank you, Chair.
Be fair to you, give you the opportunity to finish your answer. Thank you.
Chair.
Thank you, Commissioners. We have dealt with in 404, as appears at, in, what's the title? Colonel Phillips's affidavit. I think that it's page 292 of MK15. You still have MK15 with you? Annexure MK15. Yes, we are looking for that document on the screen.
Yes, 292.
Yes. Do you have it before you? Because I think it provides quite a useful summary of the various dockets.
Yeah, it's a various
Yes.
summary of the dockets,
Now,
correct.
Staying with that, let's look at the next one. You could, and the purpose of this exercise, in fact, let's look at, now we are now left with 2 blocks, right? 3. Because of time constraints, may I ask you either to cast your eye on that and tell the commissioners in which block, in which docket does our matter, by our matter I mean quote unquote the Mukwele matter, where does it fit in there?
Chair, Commissioners, when I look at what is here in the dockets, and I'm looking at the second block, the only thing that comes close to an appointment or something to do, when you look at nepotism is something like an appointment. This is the only scant thing that comes close to that. And in the rest, with regards to family members and whatever, yeah, those are the 2 things that's there.
So as things stood then, you agree that the dockets, as you received them, had nothing to do with Brigadier Mukwele directly?
There was no name. There was just allegation that a person, a civilian from BMW, was appointed.
Where was a civilian from BMW now? I'm saying in the docket. We know that a civilian from BMW is in the A1 that is yet to be obtained in January 2025. I'm saying the dockets don't seem to have anything to do with Brigadier Mukwele.
The A1?
The dockets.
The docket?
All of them.
The 403, 404, and 405.
Yes.
You agree they've got nothing to do with Brigadier
on
Mukwele?
the face of the docket. There's nothing about that I picked up on BMW.
So the only time we get to meet Brigadier Mukwele and the appointment of Brigadier Mukwele is in the A1 statement of January 2025.
Yes.
And we know it's those 2 paragraphs. I want to suggest, I would like to share with you what I would consider to be armed with an affidavit such as Mr. Adams provided in January 2025. Scant as it is, accepting that it does not, the dockets don't assist us as regards Brigadier Mukwele. For an investigating officer such as yourself, who is looking into the manipulation of promotional and security vetting processes to unduly benefit a civilian person, what would be the logical starting point of your investigation? You've got nothing except that 2-page A1 statement. What is the first step you take?
What that information that is given there?
In the A1 statement, yes.
My first point that I would look at the appointment process for civilian within crime intelligence, and the fact that now in this affidavit is mentioned BMW.
Sorry, please say that again. Sorry,
Are we talking about the A1 of January?
we are armed with the A1 of January.
Okay.
Scant as it is. I want to find out, as an investigator, what is your logical starting point regard being heard to the fact that the complaint is about manipulation of promotional and security vetting processes to unduly benefit a civilian person. And we learn from paragraph 3 that such person is Mrs. Mukwele. That's all we know. Where do we start?
Okay, so we're looking on the A1 statement. That's paragraph 2. Paragraph 2 and 3, which we have spoken about early on. So here's an allegation of a high-ranking officer involved in manipulating promotional and security vettings to the undue benefit of a civilian person who worked for BMW South Africa before being appointed as a brigadier and CI. She had no policing experience, no management experience, and was appointed as the head of technical support services. So here's the starting point. Number 1, the head of technical support services. That's the post within crime intelligence. So that's my first lead with regards to this. Second, she's from BMW, brigadier post, head of technical support. I will start by subpoenaing the documents from crime intelligence on the TSSU post, and which I indeed did. And when I looked at it, then I discovered that there was a person from BMW, a civilian, that was appointed as according to paragraph 2 of this affidavit.
Yes. Well, according to the docket you provided, or before I say that, maybe you start where you started because you know what the processes are. I would have thought, but at some point you have to collect all the prescripts and policies of SAPS that relate to promotions and security vetting processes unless you know them off by heart. That's what you would do, I presume?
Commissioner, Chair, Commissioner, Council, that's what I did.
Okay.
We requested all documentation on all the allegations from the National Commissioner.
Yes. Now, and we have to know what the prescripts provide and require for us to determine when we get into the facts of the case, whether there has been a manipulation. So we must have put up something that say, this is how the process should run. And when we look into the facts of this case, this is how the process ran, and therefore we suggest manipulation or departure from the prescribed process. So I'm saying to you that you need the base documents that tell you how the process should run.
That's correct.
So that's where you start, before you see what went wrong.
Yes.
According to your docket, though, the very first summons, Section 28 summons you issued on the 31st of January 2025 is to BMW, and you will find that at file 3 at page 802. File 3, page 802.
Thank you, Council.
Thank you. There are a few Section 28 summonses in the docket, but when I look at all of them, this is the first, based on the date stamp. This is the first you issued, the 31st of January, 2025. You have a few following on the 6th of February to the National Commissioner, on the 3rd of April, and so forth. But this is your starting summons, and it's to BMW. If you go to page 804, that's where you list the documents you require. From Mrs. Mukwele.
Yes.
Sorry. You want her application for employment at BMW, positions held, occupancy periods, and salary paid, job descriptions and performance agreements, all qualifications, training and development, declarations of interest, letter of resignation, notice period, and the like. What informed you to make this particular selection of documents from BMW? All you have is an A1 statement thus far.
Your question there is what made us request this?
These specific documents on the 31st of January 2025.
The applicant, or rather Mrs. Mukwele, worked for BMW.
Yes.
By the time we prepared the summons, we knew who she was. Through investigation, we had identified her and we knew who she was.
Well, I apologize for interrupting you. We know her name from the A1 statement by Mr. Adams. Yes. We know she's from, she worked at BMW. I can't find anything else that tells me about Mrs. Mukwele in the docket and her employment at BMW until I come across this section 28. And I assume that if that is the case, you were in exactly the same position on the 31st of January 2025. All you knew was her name and BMW. And remember, the target is to determine whether or not there was manipulation of processes within SAPS.
Yes.
And I'm trying to understand, why do you start at BMW with these specific documents? Request for these specific documents. What informed this?
Thank you, Chair. First of all, on the A1 statement, paragraph 2, there's no name of Mrs. Mukwele on there, just BMW.
It's at paragraph 3.
Paragraph 3 of the A1.
3 of A1.
Of whose
CI
A1?
management
Of Mr. Adams'
favored
A1.
Mrs. Mukwele over them. Paragraph 3 of A1. CI management favored Mrs. Mukwele
Yes,
over
my
the
apologies.
ISQ.
Yes. But we already knew, beside the name Mrs. Mukwele, we already had details at that time through the investigation processes.
If I may interject, because this is very important for my understanding of what happened. What in the docket tells me that your investigations revealed the details?
What in the,
In your docket, your first document is the A1, dated 6 January 25.
yes.
In terms of the date stamp, your next document is 31 January 2025, which is this document. What did I miss in your investigation file?
In my docket itself, there's
Yes.
no witness statement there. A witness statement comes, I think it's further down in the docket amongst
Yes.
one of the statements where the full details is.
Yes.
But up until leading of that, we had the name and surname of the person, and therefore I requested the documents.
Where did you get that name and surname from? And what in the file tells me you have the name and the surname?
Through the investigation process.
No, I hear how you obtained them. I want to know what in the docket tells me when you acquired her name and her ID number. Because it's not in the docket, unless it's one of those perhaps that because we started off with an incomplete docket, something was missing.
An investigation goes where you conduct inquiries, where you get the name, whatever, and the surname. On the police system, personnel system, you get details there, and you carry on with your investigation from there. The next part of it is to get...
Sorry, before you get onto the system, you know what you're looking for. You already
Yes,
have some information, and the question is, how did you, or from whom did you get the name? Now you say you have the personal number, if that's what you used, your ID number. Where did you get that from? How and where do we see that in the docket?
Thank you, Commissioner. What I'm saying is through inquiries, speaking to people, and during the course of the investigation, you speak to people and the talk is, who is this lady? Through that investigation and asking questions and stuff like that, I got these details. But it was not full details.
Did you speak to human resources? Did you speak to crime intelligence that you end up knowing the person that is referred to in the complaint, in that A1 statement, is Dineo Mukwele? Somebody told you that,
Yes.
right? We know that. Somebody told you that. The question is, who told you that? And where in the docket do we see, yes, this is how he got the information. He got it from General Masemola on this day because he had an interview with General Masemola. You're being asked that kind of question.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Commissioner. I would have spoken to people from crime intelligence from the environment who are working in that environment. It could have been Colonel Holstars and one of our witnesses that's the statement is in the docket. I could have got that information from her at the beginning stage of this investigation that's conducted. But where do I have to put a statement and an affidavit that I identified this particular person from so-and-so? That's not in my docket. I didn't put it there. I didn't feel that it's necessary because I'm still busy with my investigation. So through those bits and pieces that you pick up together, I got that information and I utilized that information.
My question then, how did you know who to target at crime intelligence to determine her name? There it is, Ms. Dineo Mukwele, and to determine her ID number. Who did you speak to and on what basis did you identify who to speak to? Because all you have is your A1, remember?
Yeah.
All we have is our two-pager with A1.
Yes.
Who did you speak to obtain those details and how, on what basis did you identify who to talk to in crime intelligence?
It's people that I know that I worked with previously. There's quite a few of them that I spoke to, gathered bits and pieces of information, so from the environment itself. But the person that came up with Mukwele and the details is who I called and interviewed and eventually took a statement from, which is in the docket, was Colonel Holstausen.
Which is much later than this date.
Later
My
than
logic
this date.
tells me then, all you had is Mrs. Mukwele, all you had is appointment in a certain function. Why didn't you ask the National Commissioner to please establish on your behalf what is happening here? Who is this person? And give you files pertaining to that appointment. Why didn't you do so? Rather than, because what you're coming across as suggesting that you walked the passages of CI and relied on previous relationships you had to ask people to go snooping around to find, is there a lady from BMW employed here? Why didn't you just direct that question to National Commissioner?
No.
You are investigating, sorry, apologies. You are investigating, you are authorized to investigate, you have your appointment letter from Idac. Why don't you do things in a straightforward manner? Particularly in light of the fact that you are yet to fire 3 more summonses to the National Commissioner, but only in February. Why wasn't that your starting point?
Chair, Commissioners, Council, when you do an investigation, it's fine, we can speak from a platform like this. You go, you speak to people, you investigate, and you take leads from there and you go on. And then you get names, you follow through with the names. With the National Commissioner and BMW, it's when we got when we got the actual documents from the National Commissioner, and that you will see we got it in February. This thing here from BMW, all we had was the name. We didn't know exactly initially which BMW it was, because initially we went to, I think it was Acacia, but there's two BMWs, but eventually we found that. And once we got those details, we requested this from them. That's in January. Remember, I'm trying to get the message across to you when you conduct an investigation. It's not just, you investigate. You speak to lots of people. You're busy. You're trying to confirm allegations. And where you can find and you can confirm allegations, you reduce that into an affidavit. When you are confirmed and you are sure that is that. Because if we go around taking affidavits from every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and most of those will just be, you can't use them. So what I'm trying to explain here, when you investigate, you will go, you will look at places, you will talk to people, you'll pick up a bit of information there, and then you'll continue until you reach a point where you have some information on a platform that you can utilize to get more proper details, starting with this 28 from BMW. The next one was to get now broader information, and that is when we subpoenaed the National Commissioner for relevant documents that was applicable for this information. And in that, we got all the extra additional information that we have. Thank you.
I understand that you investigate. I'm not an investigator, so my knowledge of that area, I confess, is fairly limited. But I'm talking to a lead investigator of Idac, whose conduct is informed by a letter of authority, who's got authority to investigate such matters, who doesn't direct his first salvo of questions to the person responsible for the institution that is affected by the investigation, but who does it otherwise by talking to people. So you come across to me, and I don't know if I understood you well, that in the course of investigations, you can ignore completely the head of the institution, national commissioner, and be snooping around, this investigation to establish an ID number. Who did you ask? You had to have dug within CI to establish Mrs. Mukwele's ID number, which you reflected there when you made a request to BMW. You could have gotten it in exactly less than an hour from the national commissioner. It cannot be that the answer is that when you investigate, you talk to people, unnamed people, you give sources, and this is nothing complex. You're just establishing a starting point, surely. Colonel.
Can I answer you?
Please do.
Thank you. We can say a whole lot of things here of how we should conduct our investigation and on what authority and etc. I use my powers of authority when I require them to subpoena people or subpoena documents. But within investigation, let me use the word that you use, Counsel. Snooping is part of investigation. You snoop to get information. And that's where your starting points of all investigations, and all investigating officers will know that. And when it comes to a point where you snoop not enough and you got some facts that you can put down now in a subpoena and a summons and get that information, you go ahead. So I'm not going to say that I didn't use my powers or I used my powers for this and didn't use it for that. I'm basically saying that the investigation is dynamic. Thank you.
Okay, the investigation is dynamic. Like I said, I know nothing about investigations, but I trust through your engagement, I'll catch up with something. Now, because of time, I would like you to listen carefully to what I'm going to propose to you and correct me if I'm wrong or I'm missing something. You start with your summonses with this particular one. From there, on the 6th of February, you issue a summons to the National Commissioner. But just like this one, the summons has to be specific. In Annexure B, it has to list the specific documents that you require. The next one I have, we don't have to go there, and I need your attention on this, lest I have missed anyone, is the 6th of February 25 to the National Commissioner. But here you request security clearances and vetting files for 7 people. This is the 6 people plus, this is the 6 SEPS members plus Mukwele. That's what you request. You recall that issuing such a summons, right?
Yes.
Oh, then I didn't want to quit it. File 3, page 936.
Page?
File 3, page 936.
I have it, Constable.
Okay, if you cast your eye there, you'll see, I think you could go to the end of it, or in the front of it. I think it has got, should have a stamp, a date stamp. I have it as 6th of February 2025. Is that what you have?
2025, 6th of February 2025.
Yes, yes. And that particular summons, if we go to Annexure B, we'll see what it requests. It's security clearances, security clearances of the persons listed therein,
And vetting files.
and vetting files. I say in this summons, you were requesting from the National Commissioner to provide you with security clearances and vetting files for the people listed in Annexure B.
Correct.
Okay. This is January, including Mrs. Mukwele.
Including Mrs.
Yes.
Mukwele's.
Is this still relating to the Mukwele file?
Yes, but this particular subpoena, that's what I would like to explain. We do one subpoena for all the files of people that we're investigating. So when you see Mrs. Mukwele here, so on this document here with the 28, so this section 28 with all her documents is in this docket. So when you go down and you look at the next person, General Ushaba, in his matter, you'll find a copy of the very same 28 with his documents in his docket. So it's one summons that utilize for all.
For all 7?
Yes.
Yes. So we know now that we are investigating the appointment of Mrs. Mukwele, and we know from A1 that there's an issue about possible manipulation of vetting processes. Why did you need the vetting, clearance certificates and vetting files for all these people? Was there clearance or vetting processes that were subjected to ever in question?
Can I get your question, Councillor?
Okay. The target of your investigation here, as regards vetting and security clearance,
Yes.
is the person from BMW who was employed
Yes,
through some manipulation of process.
yes.
Okay. The other people, all the subs members there, are not in your crosshairs for that purpose, to determine whether they were employed through manipulated vetting processes. They are not. They're not the subject of your investigation.
They're not the subject in this docket. They are subjects in other dockets. Remember, as I said, that we utilized one section 28 to request all the vetting files of implicated people.
Oh, I see.
All the files of implicated. You will find this here together with personal files, all the implicated people. So whichever investigated, it's all the implicated people.
Okay, so the fact that the first 6 happened to be the panel members that recommended Mrs. Mukwele is neither here nor there. Their own vetting and clearance is subject to query based on other investigations. Is that where we land? Starting with General Kumalo.
Yes, when you look at this here, the focus is on Mukwele. With regards to the other files, as I said, it's other investigations that were being conducted. So therefore, all the documents of the implicated people. So So
Which section 27 affidavit triggered an investigation into the clearance and vetting of General Kumalo? By way of example.
I have explained it.
No, please do help me.
Okay.
I'm new in this field.
We're conducting an investigation, all right? These are the implicated people in our investigation.
Implicated in?
In our investigations.
Yeah, but what are they implicated in? How are they implicated?
They are implicated in other matters linking to other crimes. Investigations, as I said, there are various when you look at, for example, General Ushaba.
No, I would like to stick. Let's stick with the first. Please don't pick and choose. Take me through. If you make me understand with reference to General Kumalo. I think I can extend that understanding to the rest of them. Let's stick with General Kumalo.
You mean, just on General Kumalo with regard to his vetting file? Yes. There's an investigation with regards to General Kumalo and his vetting file,
Okay.
which is part of another investigation that is there.
Okay.
So that is why I said, in this matter here, where all these files are requested, it's all people that's implicated in various investigations, that we looked at their personal files, their vetting files, and not to say that we want the personal file for this or the vetting file for this. We want all the files to look at holistically what is there.
And presumably all those investigations are backed up by the requisite Section 27 affidavits.
It's backed up by the investigation that we conducted.
Section 27 affidavit. We agreed yesterday that's a trigger.
Remember again, Councillor, as I said in the beginning, I did not see the
We know
Section 27.
so,
Yes,
sorry,
but now,
Colonel.
You see, Colonel, I engaged you quite extensively yesterday on that trigger. You remember that, quite extensively. Now, the very fact that you must now, in response to these questions about the trigger, say you never saw the referral, that creates a serious problem. It actually buttresses the point that you must see that referral. Otherwise, you are investigating in the dark. Do you see what I mean? Do you understand what I mean?
I understand.
You are investigating in the dark because for you to even begin, you begin because there's that trigger as provided for in Section 27. Otherwise, what are you going on about? Sorry to interrupt. You want to comment?
Thank you,
Yes,
Chair.
I
That's
want
useful.
to
That's helpful.
Please, yes.
I feel that
we
it's-
know, and please don't repeat that you did not see the Section 27 referral. We heard you umpteen times on that.
Thank
Please
you, Commissioner.
comment.
Can I respond?
Yes.
Commissioner, I know and I understand that I've referred to it various times, and it comes up every now and again. And I'm standing before yourself, Chair, and the Commission, and I'm trying to answer in the best way I can.
Yes.
But it always comes back to the 27.
And it must.
And it must.
It
That's which
does. Sorry. It does so because it must. That's the problem for you.
Yes.
Please continue with your comment.
And as Commissioner, Chair, has pointed out, the importance of the Section 27, how important it is for the investigating officer going forward, something which we never bothered about because we have our chief criminal investigator, we have a briefing. If one has to come and see how we operate in terms of the briefing, it's different. One expects that, okay, this is how it is, but it's not like how it is. But you have pointed out something important. And what is important about this current matter is that there are suspicions, allegations surrounding this investigations. So moving forward to avoid this type of stuff, and it is a fact, Commissioner, that around Idac, there has been many allegations. And when you look at it, you look at the timings, you look at a whole lot of things, and it points to there must be something wrong. And then I sit here before you, and the one time I'm a witness, and another time I'm an accused. So bear me when I respond with that, because for me, I conducted an investigation that flew from a briefing from my chief investigator. I did a bona fide investigation. Whether some of these things fell out of the mandate of Idac during the course or in the course, I cannot say, I did something wrong. I proceeded with. And that is the honest thing that I'm saying.
I'll tell you that you actually did do something wrong. You get the A1 after the briefing by your chief, which I'm sure did not tell you much. You then get the A1, which you've agreed when Ms. Sildo was questioning you, that it is sparse. Here's what was wrong.
Yes.
You have this A1, it's sparse. It should have triggered in your mind, that should have triggered in your mind, what was referred to us in the first place, and you should have gone to see what was referred. If all you see is this A1 that does not have anything, basically, you should have, but on what basis could this ever have been referred to us? And you ought to have gone back to the referral. Please, Chief, give me that referral. Don't you agree?
That's noted, Chief.
Sorry?
Sorry. Apologies, Chair. But I think that's a word we
I happen to have an aversion to that chief thing. I personally do. So what's your comment?
No, Chair, it is noted. And the concern is...
No. I'm asking you whether you agree. Do you agree?
Sir, at this time, and remember, it's the...
I'm asking you this one time.
Yeah.
I'm asking you so for you to say this time as if you have another time to disagree. Do you agree?
Chair, at this time and this moment, this is the
You
best that I
agree.
can do an answer. When you say that had
You've
to-
heard me, please don't repeat. You've heard me, please don't repeat. Do you agree?
No, sir, then I cannot say I agree, sir.
Why do you not
Because
agree?
at that moment-
Why do you not agree?
Sir, because at that moment in time, when I received the briefing, compared to the time now that you are asking me and telling me these questions about the importance of the section 27, yes. But at that time, I did not worry about it or think about it, or even 27 came to my mind at that moment in time. There was no 27 in my mind except the briefing.
So you have this A1 that's empty, or the content of which is sparse, and you just close your mind to the question whether there was a basis for referring in the first place. You just close your mind to that.
No, sir. I took what
You did not. You did not close your mind?
Chair?
I'm saying, did you then close your mind to the fact that I have an A1
Yes.
that's very sparse in content? Did you close your mind to that?
No, I didn't close my mind to it, Chair.
Why did you not?
Chair,
Why
I
did you
didn't-
not? Why did you not check then?
I went on what little was there, and I conducted further investigations to expand on it, Chair. As it was there, it needed me to look further into it.
Not if you know what the provisions of Section 27 are for purposes of making a referral, and up to now you have not suggested that you do not know what Section 27 provides.
Yes, sir.
So you could not proceed on the basis of this A1 without satisfying yourself, is there enough to proceed at all? And the basis for proceeding would have been the referral. This is sparse, then what was referred in the first place? That you would find out from the Section 27 referral. It's on that basis that I'm asking you, so you closed your mind to that.
So when you put it that way, close your mind, let me say, I cannot take it any further, Chair, and I have to stand with what you say.
All right, thank you, thank you.
Because we've spoken about it, and
Thank you,
it's
thank
over and
you,
over.
thank
So,
you, thank you.
that's the best answer I get, and although I'm caught in the middle there,
Yes,
and I have to
yes.
leave it there, caught in the middle, Chair, and I cannot
Yes.
take it any
You
further.
see, you seem to have performed your functions perfunctorily. You just,
No, sir. But let's
yes,
move on.
yes, Mr.
Thank you, Chair. Can I invite you to the page before? I'm looking at the summons. We are still with the summons. Can I take us to a page before 2117? 2117. Remember, we're looking at 2118, so just go a page before.
2117.
Wait,
Looking at the summons on 938.
or 936. Then I'm looking at a different version. I want us then to go to a page before. It's a duplication. That would be 937. My apologies. So we ended up with duplications instead of, it appears at 2117 as well. Now we know it starts at 936, that summons, of the 6th of February, 2025. I then go to 937, and I look at under background, and I see that it states under background, the information required from you relates to the conducting of an investigation into serious fraud and corruption committed within SAPS. Then you state that you invoke Section 28, Sub 13 of the NPA Act, and you say you are looking into allegations of the commission of the following offenses: 1, fraud; 2, corruption. So that's what you're investigating here.
Correct.
Now, if we go back then to our 938, your response to why you are looking into the security clearances and vetting of such a wide list of people beyond Mrs. Mukwele was that this particular summons was not issued for, specifically in relation to the Mukwele appointment investigation, but was broader and included other investigations.
Yes.
Okay.
That's correct.
So is it then fair to assume, to conclude, and I see at the bottom, it's signed by Advocate A. Johnson.
That's correct.
Is it correct to assume that each separate investigation into the security clearances and vetting files of Kumalo, Lushaba, Madondo, Ncube, I'll skip 1.5 and 1.4, 1.5 and 1.6 because these were the contenders for this position we're discussing, and Dobby. I must accept that somewhere within Idac lie either one or more Section 27 affidavits authorizing an investigation into the vetting processes or security clearances of these individuals. Alternatively, that Idac, the ID, has taken on their own volition a decision to investigate those issues. So we know in Idac, it's either by way of Section 27 affidavit or where the ID has taken a decision. I must assume, for purposes of this summons, that one of them apply in relation to all these people listed here, excluding the person at 1.5 and 1.6. So when we make a request to Idac to be provided with Section 27 affidavit or Section 28 sub 1 authorization in respect of Kumalo, Lushaba, Madondo, Ncube, and Bobby, that it should be found. There would be one of them.
As I indicated, these are all implicated people in other investigations. Whether they, as I said again, we're coming back to touch on the 27. Here, as I indicated before, the briefing on the investigation is done. It's got to do with vettings. It's got to do with a whole lot of allegations and which is going to result in investigations. So these documentation which is required for the purpose of these investigations were put in there. It's all implicated people. Whether there will be something tangible found or whatever is only discovered when we receive the documents, which has happened in some of the cases, that there is nothing tangible to that. But it's all part of the investigations. These files and documents are all part. When I say the investigations, the different investigations that we conducted, because one investigation will flow into another investigation.
So then at
The
least,
question, sorry, Ms. Silla, I was going to ask that question. Let me just try to amplify her question. We may get a better answer, hopefully. Ms. Silla has read for you that last paragraph, details of the matter or other information. So we know that these are, in fact, it reads, let me remind you how it reads. It reads, the investigation pertains to manipulation of security service vetting processes, which resulted in the unlawful issuing of security clearance. That's what the investigation is about. That's why these people's vetting files
Yes.
are being sought.
Yes.
The question is, we must therefore have in the Idac dockets that raise complaints or an allegation about these individuals that have been listed. They cannot be a random, if things are done properly,
Yes.
they couldn't be a random list of people. There must be a docket for each one of them that raises issues about their vetting and security clearance.
Yes,
You agree that is the case? There must be a document.
yes. When we say you wouldn't get individual dockets, it could be docket where a few people are implicated in with
Yes.
regarding to manipulation of processes. But particular, Chair, Commissioner, there is one specific docket as a result of it that has been opened and which is finalized and pending
Yes.
on the process. Thank you,
So,
Chair.
so in fact, if you look at 936, you have a CIN number, and I think you said a CIN number is an inquiry number.
Yes.
Right? So if we get that docket or file, let's call it a file, because at this point it's an inquiry. If we get a copy of that CIN file, we should find in it the allegation, the original allegation about the vetting and security clearance, whatever complaint it is. We should
Yes.
find it in that file.
It will be CIN first and then it will change to the docket number.
I'm still at CIN because this summons here, it's not yet at docket stage. It gives a reference, a CIN reference. So if I go into the CIN file, we should find the complaint that lists all of those people
Yes.
as involved in vetting and vetting manipulation.
Yes, you will
Okay.
find the allegation and the summons and everything in the file.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Mr.
And if I may just follow up on that, in the very same files that Commissioner Baloyi references, we will find an authorization to inquire into their own personal security clearances. Let's take Kumalo as a start, issued for the ranks of Brigadier, Major General, and Lieutenant General. Because now you are investigating these people and their own vetting.
Yes.
So in some CIN file within Idac is authorization to inquire and investigate into the security clearances of those particular people. Not for purposes of being on a panel, but they themselves are subject to investigation by Idac, and their vetting and security clearances are brought into question. We will find that.
Can I
Yes, please.
respond? Thank you, Chair, Commissioners. During the course of the investigation, when you are investigating one part or you're investigating something, you will pick up something else along the way with regards to the same allegation. So therefore, you will find that a number of other files are requested in that. During the course of the investigation, other things come up which you have to investigate. So when you say, but no, you need an authorization now to continue, no. We continued. If something else came up where we found more corruption or we found more fraud, we continued with it. Because that investigation started at a point where it uncovered other stuff.
Okay. But then that would mean by the 6th of February 2025, some or other investigation was ongoing that led into the investigation of these particular individuals insofar as their security clearances and vetting is concerned. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
It may very well have started somewhere. And those files exist in Idac. Because I'll take it, it's on that basis that Advocate Johnson would authorize
Yes.
that now. And that is important because otherwise it would appear that on the basis of investigating one issue, then Idac can run around inquiring into, in this case in SAPS, everybody's security clearances and vetting circumstances where there is neither a referral complaint in terms of Section 7 or a specific authorization in terms of Section 28(1)A by the investigator.
Space, but I'm trying to get out there what I want to explain. So,
Referring to the future capture, as you said yesterday, or past capture? I just need to be clear.
no,
Future capture,
no.
past
going
capture.
Can I respond, sir? Thank you. When we come back to that future capture and the way it was put over yesterday, and when I'm given the opportunity to explain and quantify it, you'll understand, sir. So the thing about future capture or whenever, we'll put that to rest, sir. Definitely. Thank you, sir.
When you say here you were looking at capture of crime intelligence, is it past capture? Your answer to my question was you looking at this thing holistically, you investigating crime intelligence, and you are looking at the capture of crime intelligence. That's when I came in and said, just to be clear, are you referring to past capture or future capture? So you said we must park the future capture issue. So am I to assume that looking at this document, what you were looking at was past capture of crime intelligence?
When we look at the documents and what has already happened, the people are appointed. There were some still to be appointed, and they're still acting, waiting to be appointed. So when we look at it, when you look at incidents of past capture or past appointment that took place, Mukwela was appointed. She was appointed in October, but she only took up a post because she had to put in notice in work, but she was appointed on the 1st of October. But the date of appointment will be a month later when she reported on duty. So when I talk about past and future, there are people that's already appointed. One of those appointments is a subject of the investigation. So people that are acting in the post where they are or they were going to be appointed. So that it's not already, when you're saying past and still future, it's those various things that happen and are still happening that we talk about the capture of crime intelligence.
Just so that I understand, are you saying these people at page 938 that are listed there, their security clearance and vetting files were required because they are implicated in a capture of the, we know one of them is Mukwele, and you are quite insistent that she was part of a scheme to capture to capture crime intelligence. We know you say General Kumalo was. So there are names there, and there's the panel, members of the panel, and Ngube. So we know all of those you've accused of being part of the plan to capture crime intelligence. But we have other names here that are appearing for the first time. You have 1.5, Ms. Sillo says that was a competitor for the position that Ms. Mukwele was finally appointed to. And then 1.7, it hasn't been said who that person is, but are you saying this information about them was required, was requested because in your investigation you came upon indicators that they are planning to capture crime intelligence if they haven't already?
Commissioner, there are allegations, and the allegations are only come forth to fact when we find that the processes have been manipulated. So
Say that again?
there were allegations.
Yes.
Our investigation led us to these allegations, to investigate these allegations.
And the
So
allegation is what? What is the allegations?
Second?
What are the allegations about these people that are listed from 1.1 up to 1.7 that creates a basis for you to seek their files?
Appointments, vetting processes, that is it, the appointments and vetting processes of the people
Okay.
whom are alleged to have been unlawfully appointed, if I can put it, or irregularly placed in a place for, like as I explained it yesterday, in a position of where you have power, you know, and yeah.
Yeah, no, we've had that discussion.
Yes.
I think that discussion of
Yes.
yesterday, you know,
Yes,
you
yes.
do remember how it went.
Yes.
You're not answering my question. Ms. Silo read for you what Ms. Johnson says is the reason that she's asking for this information,
Yes.
right? And I know you remember it. Let me not remember.
937?
Yeah,
I think
937, it
the-
says it pertains to manipulation of security vetting processes. Now, her list in Annexure B has got 7 people, and it requires their files from what looks like the beginning of their rise in the SAPS. From Brigadier, that's Kumalo. You say from Brigadier to Major General, and when he becomes Lieutenant General. You do the same with Lishaba. You say when he was Colonel, we want that file, when he's Brigadier, and when he's Major General.
Yes.
Madondo, you do the same. Up to the end, you do that. So my question is, and when I say you, I mean Idac, and you're the witness, so you know something about
Understood.
this. You keep telling us that you are investigating a bigger scheme. Are you saying to us that this information required of these 7 people, it is because they have been identified in a complaint or in allegations or on some reasonable basis of the investigating director that they are involved in a scheme to capture crime intelligence, these people, these 7 people? Because if your answer is no, and I may be helping you with answering, but I think in fairness, I must say that to you, that if your answer is no, they haven't been identified, then we would have to say, well, Ms. Johnson says that it is because you're looking at manipulation of vetting processes, and there may well be a case of abuse of powers. Hence my question of wanting to know, has an allegation been made that these 7 people are involved in a scheme to capture crime intelligence? Is there such an allegation?
Can I respond?
Yes, you may.
When we say the persons are involved in the capture of crime intelligence, when I say the capture of crime intelligence is that the activities that are taking place there through the head of crime intelligence with the appointments, these appointments are strategic for the capture of crime intelligence. It's not to say that particular person they have got together and now they're going to go on the capture of crime intelligence. It's the way the appointments took place. Then the other thing, there were reasonable grounds to suspect that these people were involved in some of the allegations. So therefore, on reasonable grounds, these documents were requested to verify and eliminate.
Okay. So
And
that-
where
sorry.
positive stuff was found, we took action, and where
Yeah, I'm not at where you take action. I just want to understand what your testimony is about this.
I've answered it.
So I'm going to try one last time. Is there in the file, in that CIN file, or any other document, is there a complaint or an allegation? And please listen to how I express this very carefully. Is there an allegation or a complaint that says Major General Madondo is involved in a scheme to capture crime intelligence? Will we find such a complaint?
No,
Okay,
you
thank
won't
you.
find a complaint like that.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. So if I can,
I'm sorry,
Chair.
I'm sorry.
Yes, Chair.
Yeah. If you can't, forgive me if Ms. Silo has already asked this question, because I remember you touching on Section 28. But if we can't find such an allegation, and this not being a referral under 27, you would then have to look to Section 28(1)A. Am I correct?
Yes,
For you to be able to investigate. Is that correct or not?
So, I can't say at the moment. 21A.
28, 1A, a small a this time.
If I may assist, Colonel,
Yes.
Colonel, please look to your screen. It's about to be projected. That is Section 28 of the NPA Act.
Yes.
All right. That's what the chair would like to engage you on. It will be projected soon. I hope you can see from the screen close to you. Enlarge. Oh, I understand they are providing you with a copy of the NPA Act.
Yes. 21A. I listed. That's fine. I'm not looking for Facebook. Thank you.
We are looking at 28 1A.
I see.
You can. I thought you'd look at the document in your hand, and that's what the chair wants to engage you on.
So
No, I
I'm
understand.
saying, because there may be a referral, but now the focus is on what was not in the referral.
Yes, sir.
And that came out quite clearly when Commissioner Baloyi was engaging you. You have agreed that we will not find this anywhere in the documentation that we have before us.
Yes.
Now, my question is, if it is not a Section 27 referral,
Yes.
your next point of entry would have to be Section 28(1)A.
21A.
Is that correct? Do you agree?
That's correct as I read it, sir.
Is that what happened here?
I wouldn't say I referred to 21A, but the way I
It would,
conducted.
it would not be you anyway. It would not be you anyway, because it is the investigating director that must be satisfied that there is a reason to suspect. Yes, of course, that doesn't mean the investigating director would then have to investigate personally. She would be inundated if she were to try to do that. But when it comes to you, would this have been on the basis of the satisfaction of the investigating director that there was reason to suspect? Was that the basis?
Of the further investigations
Yes.
that's been
Let me call them the additional investigations.
additional investigations that came out of it. Sir, I wouldn't go to the 28. I just would go
Where
with
would
the
you go?
continuous,
Where would you go?
with the current investigation that's there, that we're conducting, and these other implicated persons come in. It's just, I will continue with the same investigation with that.
But where do you get the power to do that from? Because you are created by statute and you possess your powers as Idac, not you personally.
Yes, sir.
You possess your powers in terms of statute. So where would you get this power from? If it's not a referral and if it's not in terms of Section 28(1)A, what would your power be
So then I would revive,
as a functionary within Idac?
yes, sir. As I say, that if I'm investigating something and it's related to this investigation that I'm conducting, let's say, for example, it's a process of I just want to just pause for an example.
You see, as you are thinking, I do understand the legal principle that when you have a power
Yes, sir.
to perform X, you also have the power to do something that is ancillary to X. So it's taken as being part of X. You are still basically exercising the same power. That I understand.
Yes, sir.
But I'm not so sure that going on to vetting and so on would be something ancillary to what had been referred in terms of Section 27. That I would not understand. So it's on that basis that I say If it's not a 27 referral, then it would have to be on the basis of section 28(1)(a). Do you follow me?
Yes, sir.
So I go back to my question, where would you get the power from then? Are you suggesting that this vetting issue is ancillary to what had been referred? And if you do, I will find that quite strange.
So, as you mentioned, section 21A, that the investigating director is empowered there. It will have to come down as an authority for us to investigate further.
Did you get that authority?
No, sir.
Then
I'm saying-
on what basis then in law did you do so?
In law, sir, look, you're investigating an allegation here, or you're investigating something that has taken place there, but further stuff coming, I will continue on the same basis. On the law part of it, it's there's a crime being committed, so I'm applying that to that specific thing. If there was a criminal offense committed there. Like, let me just jump on the box.
So are you basically saying, despite the provisions of section 28(1)(a), you have a free hand to investigate whatever you come across, even if you have not been authorized in terms of section 28(1)(a). And I'm talking authorized because that section does not refer to authorized. I'm saying that purely on the basis that I accept that there's no way that the investigating director can investigate everything herself.
Yes, sir.
So you are saying even without authorization, you come across something and it's not even ancillary to, for example, what had been referred, you have a free hand to investigate as you please. Is that what we are saying?
No, sir. It's
What
not
are you
about,
saying? What are you saying then?
It's not about a free hand to investigate everything and anything. We are in the same scenario or the same investigation of crime intelligence within there, where the allegations is falling within crime intelligence, and within that same investigations you are picking up similar stuff that is there, similar offenses that are there. We continue with it because it's still there. But if it's something else,
Let's
outside,
focus on the appointment of Ms. Mukwele. I don't see what's similar between that and investigating issues around vetting. I don't see the similarity.
So, like I said, there's the investigations of Mrs. Mukwele, and there are other investigations related to other
Just show me the similarity between issues of vetting and the allegedly improper appointment of Ms. Mukwele. Where's the similarity?
Let me take you to another example, sir.
No. Let's just deal with this one,
Similar
please.
with Mrs. Mukwele.
Yeah.
If we find, for example, there's another brigadier, right, a person that's appointed, and irregularly processes were manipulated, appointments too were manipulated in the sense that there was corruption, there was fraud, there was misrepresentation. We will investigate that too as well. Whilst we're there, it's in the same component, it's in the same.
Colonel, when you said you were giving me an example, I refuse to accept that. You've gone to an example anyway. I'm saying, show me how the issue of the allegedly improper appointment of Ms. Mukwele is similar to the vetting issues that you then proceeded to investigate. Show me the similarity.
You have the appointment of Brigadier Mukwele. I'm trying to answer you, Chair. You have the appointment of Brigadier Mukwele. You have the allegations of the vetting process too as well within that she was a civilian and there was a certain process that followed that didn't follow the normal process. For example, she did not have a personnel number, but it is stated there that her vetting was captured on a system.
Does all of that then take you to vetting?
Yes, it's the vetting part.
And it's
Yes.
and the two are similar.
It's coupled together because your appointment
All
goes
right, all
through the
right, I'll
vetting.
leave it. Ms. Sildo.
Thank you, Chair. That would be the one summons, and now because I'm terribly pressed for time, let's look at the next Section 28 summons.
How much time do you?
A lot. A lot, unfortunately, Chair.
Okay. No, I was going to say let's sit late.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'm indebted to you.
So that I wanted to have an idea how long we will sitting late.
No, I think we'll be here for quite some time. I apologize. Then we go to file 4. File 4. You'll get assistance now. I'm going to page 1083. 1083. And this is once again a Section 28 summons dated the 6th of February 2025. File 4. It starts, the actual document, summons starts at 1081. And if you see to the bottom of that page at 1081 is a date stamp, 06/02/2025. So that's when it was issued, signed by Advocate Johnson. And on this particular now summons, if we go to page 1083, perhaps 1082, says the details of the matter or other information. Thank you. Now they have the background, and below that, you have details of the matter. Again, it's still fraud and corruption. Details of the matter or other information, and you advise the addressee that this investigation pertains to unlawful promotion, appointment of personnel within the division crime intelligence. Now, you will recall that all we know about investigation into appointments in crime intelligence is set out in the Section 27 affidavit by Mr. Adams. And you don't have to go there, you can take my word. At paragraph 4, he states, I suspect that General Kumalo and some other officers in crime intelligence, including Madondo Lushaba, were manipulating procurement processes and processes to appoint and promote certain members of higher strategic positions within crime intelligence. That is the allegation. You heard that. Did you hear what I read?
Yes, I heard part of it.
And now, the bottom of paragraph 4 of that same affidavit, no, it's not here. We dealt with it extensively yesterday, just to remind ourselves. If you have it close by, you can look at it. That's the Section 27 affidavit. And I go back to this Section 27 affidavit because of what you said previously, and I just want to test my understanding. Have you found the affidavit?
I'm getting it now.
Okay, we might as well. CJC 373 file 2. Go to file 2, page 512.
I have it.
Okay. And I'm paragraph 4 of that affidavit. You see what it starts with, I suspect that General Kumaro and some other senior officers in crime intelligence, including Madondo and Lushaba, were manipulating procurement processes and processes to appoint and promote certain members to higher strategic positions within crime intelligence positions. So that's his suspicion. He then gives you the detail, and that's where he references the BMW civilian lady. But I'm interested in the bottom of that, at the end of that paragraph. He concludes, the appointments of the various Secret Service officers in the country must be investigated, as these are likely points to launder money out of crime intelligence without it being detected. So, Mr. Adams would like Idac to please investigate appointments of the various Secret Service officers not officers, offices in the country, because that is the likely point for that money will be laundered. You can cast your eyes through the rest of the affidavit. I didn't see anything else about appointments, general appointments into investigation into the appointments at CI. That's all I see. Is that a correct understanding of the affidavit?
Just repeat the last one, Councillor.
I'm saying, all we have is this section 27 affidavit before us.
Yes.
And insofar as appointments other than that of Mrs. Mukwele, what Mr. Adams says is at paragraph 4 at the conclusion thereof, where he suggests the appointments at the various secret services offices in the country must be investigated.
Yes.
You agree that's what he's asking for?
Yes, he's asking for the appointments of the various secret service officers in the country must be investigated.
Yes.
As they likely points to launder money.
Yes. So this he asks, we know now on the 21st of November. He doesn't specify which office, he doesn't specify which appointments are being queried. He specifies absolutely nothing. So basically, he's inviting a blanket investigation to Idac to say, go look in there and investigate every appointment, because those offices are the likely points to launder money out of crime intelligence without it being detected. You can't quibble without that interpretation of mine. You agree with me? That's what he's asking.
Yeah, he's asking for all the secret services offices in the country.
Yes.
To be investigated. And
no, for the appointments in those offices.
the appointments in those offices
Yes.
to be investigated.
Yes.
So from my understanding there is that in each province, we have a secret service account at Crime Intelligence Office.
Yes.
So the commanders of those secret service accounts, that's the way I understand it.
Yes. And so across the country.
Yes, there's 9 provinces.
So that's what he had requested.
Yes.
Now, in the course of conducting the Mukwele investigation, we are now, you remember, at 1081, when you are issuing those Section 28 subpoenas. We looked at the request for the vetting results and security clearances for those various people identified therein. In this one, I'd referred us to 1082, details of the matter or other information, and it reads, this investigation pertains to unlawful promotion appointment of personnel within the division, crime intelligence of the South African Police Service. Do you see where I'm reading?
Yes.
Then overleaf at 1083, you then request, no, by you I mean Idac, not you, Colonel Padayajee. Advocate Johnson then requests 1, original personal files for the following senior officers of SAPS. Once again, Kumalo Lushaba Madondo, there's a new one now, Moyana, Crime Intelligence Head Office. Ngube, we've seen that name before. Janse van Vuren, Mukwele, and Bobby. At 2, this summons requires all original files, records, correspondence, and documents regarding the promotions, appointments of the following senior officers: Kumalo, Lushaba, Madondo, Ngube, van Vuren, Mukwele, Bobby. Now, 2 appears not to be particularly interested in Brigadier T. Moyana, although he or she is relevant in 1. This summons, it's in your docket. You'll agree it's way beyond the scope of determining whether or not the appointment of Brigadier Mukwele was as a result of manipulated processes, recruitment processes and vetting processes. You are now investigating the appointment of Kumalo, Lushaba, Madondo, Moyana, Ngube, van Vuren, Mukwele, and Bobby. Why?
First of all, this Section 28 summons is in this docket. As you can see, this is Mukwele's docket. So this Section 28 summons refers to the documentation requested for documentation of Mukwele and the promotion documents of Mukwele. With regards to the other persons listed here, those documents were also requested for the purposes of this investigation as, also requested too for the purposes of investigation.
Which investigation? Can you help us with the detail? Then perhaps when Advocate Johnson comes, she
Yes.
might be able to assist with the document. Which investigation is that requires these documents?
During the briefing by Chief Investigator Perumal, the appointments and the appointments of these people mentioned here, right? This is what we were requested to subpoena, because the appointments and appointments are also on the investigation.
When you say their appointments, you mean their employment by SAPS?
No,
Is that what you
It
mean?
means their promotions. The
So there are-
appointments, not in the SAPs, the appointments in the ranks.
So you're saying there is there's a complaint and an investigation about the appointment of Lieutenant General Kumalo to the rank. You say there's such a complaint.
Yes.
The same with Lushaba, Madondo, Moyana, Ngube,
Yes.
Fanfiren, Mukwele, and Bobby.
Yes.
There is such a complaint.
Yes, correct, Commissioner.
Before you answer, may I add, that complaint, I take it, is a Section 27 affidavit. It's a Section 27 affidavit because that's the only way that a complaint can come to Idac. So you confirm that somewhere in Idac lies such an affidavit.
This is from the briefing of Chief Investigator Perumal. When he comes here,
No, Colonel, I apologize. I
Okay.
interject. It's getting late in the day. The chief's, what do you call it, briefing doesn't assist me. Because the chief's briefing doesn't give legitimacy to the investigation. As the chair the chair and I were having that engagement with you, the only way you legitimize an investigation by IDAC is in terms of Section 27 and Section 28, sub 1, sub A. Neither of them include the chief's briefing. So don't tell me about chief's briefing. So I need you only, and if you answer me yes, I will leave this inquiry and then I will take it up with the right person. But do you tell me confidently that insofar as the appointment and promotions of those other people, other than Mukwele, for now I'll say other than Mukwele, those are subject of a legitimate lawful investigation by IDAC as initiated by a Section 27 affidavit or in terms of Section 28(1)A? Is that what you're telling me? And no chief's briefing, I beg.
I want to come back again, and as the chair mentioned, and I'm at pains trying to get through it, Council, and I have thought already that we've addressed it. I cannot answer for somebody else, and I cannot go any further than that. And I will say again, as investigators, we are briefed by the chief investigator, given a scenario, what we have to do, who has to do what, who has to subpoena, what documents are required. Whatever is within my investigation, for example, Mukwele docket, which I have before you, I will do it. There is, I must say, they are being called to answer quite a few times on something that is not beyond me. It's up at the upper management. And where now I'm also asked to expect an opinion on it, which puts me in a very awkward situation. So what I'm saying is, the question should be relevant to me and my investigation. The people that can answer to the Section 27, 28, they have to come and respond.
I agree.
Thank you.
It's only fair. But at the same time, I must say that you invited this line of questioning because in justifying the broad first Section 28 that was looking into the vetting of everybody beyond Mukwele, including Lushaba and them, you informed the commission that there are other ongoing investigations by IDAC. So I assumed you have some level of knowledge about those investigations, although you are not involved in them. And that is why I'm having this discussion with you. But if you say your information is, or your knowledge is just very general and broad, and if I need any further detail, I should ask management, I'll accept that. I'll pick it up with management.
Thank you, Chair. Thank you, Council. May I just respond from your...
Yes, please.
Thank you, Council. I appreciate that fact. And what I'm saying is that the chief investigator knows all the investigations. He can explain them in detail. My investigation is this matter. And therefore you've seen throughout the couple of days that I've been here, I've been at pains trying to explain something from people that will come and account for. I can account for what is mine, but I know that we have lost a day on Monday, and where I was supposed to follow up and slot in, but it has made my testimony here challenging and difficult. And therefore, sometimes I'm at pains to explain something. And I must say, Chair, it's also affecting me. I'm trying to be open and honest with the Commission. But every day I go back and I try not to look at the TV or social media, but it is there. And I come in with that every morning. So what I'm saying, Council, that I want to assist the Commission. But on the one side, it's coming across that like I'm an accused. And on the other side, I'm coming out as a witness. So I'm either here as an accused or a witness. But what I want to say to you and to the Commission, I'm coming here as a witness to assist the Commission and be of assistance. There may be difficulty in explaining some of the stuff that is here, but it is not done deliberately. It is not done to deceive anybody. I conducted a bona fide investigation. I did what I did according to what I know and according to how I'm briefed, and I've done it. Thank you.
Yeah, I think I owe you this explanation, Colonel. You may think that we are repetitive. We are not. Yesterday, when we engaged you extensively, we did so in the context of two affidavits. The first being the Section 27 referral affidavit. The second being the A1 statement/affidavit. Today, Ms. Sillo is taking you through the summonses. And the summonses raise issues that are different to what we dealt with yesterday. So we must naturally go back to the empowering provisions of the NPA Act in order to understand how these summonses and therefore their content, or rather how those provisions bear relevance to the summonses and whatever else may be coming out, because that helps us understand whether what's being done, whether the issuance of the summonses was, or rather had a basis in terms of the empowering provisions. That's why it appears that we are repetitive. We are not. We have to engage with each step that Ms. Sillo wants to deal with to be satisfied that, yes, indeed, there was a legal basis for each one of these various steps to be done. So we'll keep going back to the sections, and to you it may appear, I've already dealt with Section 27, I've already dealt with Section 28, I've already dealt with that and that, but we must do this, we must engage in this exercise. Do you understand that?
I understand, Chair.
Thank you very much.
May I please respond?
Yes, please.
Thank you, Chair. Commissioners, I must also apologize. It's been a long week, and I'm just human.
Yes.
I'm committed to the job that I do.
Yes.
Very much. And the 44 years speaks for itself. I come here in a bona fide way for bona fide work and investigation that I conduct. At the Commission itself, I want to answer and give the answers. But sometimes I will struggle with it, but it's not intentional.
Yes.
Because some of it borders on somebody else that has to come and explain it. But there are a lot of factors there that leads to the way I sit here. part of it is media. I mean, just day before yesterday, we had a security expert, Elridge or Elric or whatever. He referred to me as an enabler. That's attached to Brown Makotsi or similar to Brown Makotsi in Nku. Now I'm saying, Commissioner, I'm coming here to assist the Commission. It's a long week. And so far, some of the questions that I'm trying to answer, trying to get across, there are emotions mixed with it. And that's why, Commissioner, I need you to give me the permission. Yesterday, with regards to how I spoke about a gratification, and then when it was put to a future date, understand, Commissioner Boloy, that I was trying to explain it. But when you want to get the words to get out, I find it challenging. So, Commissioner Boloy, when we talk about a gratification, and we talked about the employment as a gratification, but it's also some advantage that you put a person and you appoint a person in a place for a particular advantage. And to elaborate on that, you go to a person and you give him 500,000 or whatever, and you leave him there. And we go to a typical example when I applied my mind. When we look at the matter in the Talis matter of the former president, Jacob Zuma and Talis, a retainer was given. When does he have to act? It's any given time. We don't know when it is. So I tried to bring that over to explain it in that. But when the message went out, it's like, oh, you're going to be there for, I'm not saying with respect, Commissioner Boloy, but it's trying to get that message over to say, within PRECA, the advantage is way to describe it, in the second part of the employment, promise of employment, and the advantage. Person is appointed there. We appointed you there. You are now obligated to us and to perform it at some or later stage, But there's an example. You give a person 500 and say, sit there.
Yeah, but
when I come back to you.
Sorry, but that would be, and that's a discussion that I thought you settled yesterday. You were asked directly the question, and I think by Commissioner Kumalo, he asked, so does accepting employment constitutes a gratification? Because that's where he had stopped. And I'm not opening that debate afresh. I'm saying even with this explanation, there's still the problem that in PRECA itself, gratification is when you receive in exchange for something, and that something is what the problem was yesterday. And I don't think you're going to explain it any better than you did, and my suggestion would be, let's rather leave it. It is what it is. I don't see you giving us a better answer about it.
Yes, thank you, Commissioner. That was the best I could answer. But just to conclude, Chair, that is the way I am coming across, because you are trying to have courage and strength and do the right thing. And what I've done, and I feel, and I know deep inside me, I've done the right thing. So if I come across and I take long or whatever, I'm energizing myself to try and respond. But like I said, there's a lot out there with the media, and I say, and a security expert, I'm now an enabler. So maybe I shouldn't turn the TV on tonight because I have to go home tomorrow. Not to delay you any further, Chair, Commissioners, Council,
Yes.
we can proceed.
Thank you.
Commissioner Kumalo has a question.
It's more a comment than
Okay,
a question,
yeah.
Colonel. Just a quick point. It is the transcript in this commission that will speak for itself.
Sorry, sir.
It is the transcript in this commission that will speak for itself, not the media pundits or social media. So don't worry about that. Just answer truthfully to the best of your ability. And we are only engaging you on the contents of your dockets. This is your docket. You are the docket carrier. And we are engaging you because if we leave these issues and those people come here and we ask them, they will say, this is not my docket. You should have asked Colonel Padayajee. We don't want to run into that problem. So I hope you understand that. Now, my question before we go to T.
Commissioner Kumalo, if I may, before you pose a question, because I would also want to
On the
address
comment,
the
yeah.
Colonel on this matter. Commissioner Kumalo has made the one point I wanted to make, which is to clarify that I'm engaging with you as I do on these documents because it is quote unquote your docket. And I depart from the premise that you are very familiar with it, as you would become over time, and you are able to easily and quickly shed light over the documents that are contained in there to the extent that we may not understand them. So that is why we are having this engagement. I would like to assure you that I am absolutely clear that you are a witness before this commission. You are anything but an accused. You are not an accused. I do not intend to engage with you as an accused, and to the extent that I may have come across as such, I would like to tender my apologies. I considered it to be perhaps a robust engagement on some of these documents, but it was never intended to leave you with the sense that I'm dealing with you as if you are an accused or I'm accusing you of anything in particular. So to the extent that I may have come across as such, I apologize. It wasn't ever my intention. Thank you.
Thank you and appreciate it, Council.
Colonel, these documents we were looking at, the subpoenas with the annexures, who prepared these documents? I know they are signed by Advocate Johnson. Who prepared them for her signature?
The Section 28, it would have been done by Chief Perma.
You had no involvement in the preparation of these documents?
No, sir. I would have had maybe, looked at, whilst he was preparing the document, maybe been next to him and looked at what, Mukwele, what document or something like that, but he prepared it.
So as investigating officer, you had no knowledge of what Idac was asking for from SEPS or from BMW or from other people? You
No,
would
sir.
not have had knowledge that,
I had knowledge. The request from BMW, I had knowledge.
and this one we are looking at
This-
1083?
This one as well, I had knowledge. What I'm saying here, Commissioner, is that I had knowledge because I was right there when he was preparing it. So it's not that I don't know about it. I'm aware about it, and I confirm that.
So you were there when these documents were prepared?
Yes, sir.
So you can speak to them?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Thank you, Commissioner.
Colonel, can I just follow up on that? I'm happy to limit it to the Mukwele docket because it's your docket. That's the docket you're responsible for. Now, in respect of the Mukwele docket, the information that is requested, eventually signed off by Advocate Johnson in this summons, who determines what to ask for? So, for example, the one that we're looking at 1083, it requires the personnel file of Mukwele. Who says, let's get the personnel file of Mukwele? It's your docket, remember, you're the lead investigator. Yes. The second part requires files, records, correspondence, documents relating to the promotion of Mukwele. And then 3 certified copies of SAP 96 service records for Mukwele, among others, but I'm limiting to Mukwele.
Yes.
And then 4 SAPS 101 personal equipment records for Mukwele. Who makes the determination or who identifies the documents or the information in respect of your docket that must be sought and to be included in this summons?
Chair, Commissioner, thank you. Let me just correct one thing first. Paragraph 4, the 108.
Yes.
Mukwele wouldn't have a 108. Those are personal equipment, firearms, and stuff like that, I presume at that time. So that 108 was not, I know because when you look at Mukwele's personal file and Mukwele's original records, that would have been a request from myself That's why I mentioned it.
So you identify
Yes.
the information and the
That I
documents
require.
that must be sought in respect of Mukwele?
Yes.
So because it's your docket, so you would have done the same with respect to information relating to General Kumalo, because it's in you're investigating the panel, remember?
Yes.
So you would have been the one that says, I require the personnel file of Kumalo. Am I correct?
No.
Okay,
Commissioner.
explain.
Remember that when you look at General Kumalo and the other people that are there, all right, they are on the other investigation. So the chief is requesting these documents because he's got the whole picture of to complete all the investigations. Myself is, for example, Lushaba and Mokwele. So that will be my request there.
Because Lushaba is your docket.
Lushaba
The
is in-
Lushaba docket, the other docket
the
is
other
yours.
docket.
Okay.
So whichever accused in my matters, I would be there. But when you look at this year, because General Madondo and the other people are also in other dockets, so the chief handles that. But my specific one will be a request for Mokwele and Lushaba.
Okay. So where you say, so the correspondence to BMW, you would be the one that said, we need to get this from BMW. It's not simply you became aware of it. It is in fact you who identified what should be sought.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And I would have asked, okay, I want the employment, the history, everything from BMW. And it will also, the chief would have been there with me while we discussed it, and then I would have said it like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then another question before we take the break, and it's really just to clarify, because I thought from yesterday's evidence I had understood about this reference number, the inquiry reference number, and now this summons confuses me.
Yes.
My understanding of how you testified yesterday was, once you had received the complaint, when I say you, I mean Idac, and the case was decided to be taken on, you don't allocate it a CAS number. It gets allocated an inquiry number.
Yes.
Until it graduates
Yes.
to a CAS number at some point along the way. Now, this summons, they bear a reference number. And I've understood you to say the reference number, which is the CIN number, is the same as it's an inquiry number.
Yes.
Now, here we have only one inquiry number. We have only if you look at 1081, we've given a single inquiry number, and yet you are telling us that the rest of the information, for example, on 1083 relates to other dockets. Can you just explain how it works?
From the way
And what it means that we now just have one inquiry number in respect of many cases, in fact.
Yes. When you look at all the cases, the inquiry is on crime intelligence. It's how can I put it to you? It's one investigation that has many legs. So it's got one inquiry number. So we use that reference. Then, if you look, Commissioner, remember when you were talking about an inquiry file, you will notice that what's in the inquiry file is transferred into the docket. For example, the section 28, and it's together with what we requested is the documents. So that is how it is. Then if you look in the other dockets, you will find a CIN number 28, this very same 28, together with the relevant documents that's for that particular docket will be filed in that docket under that CIN number. So the inquiry number is CIN with different legs in it.
Okay, so this number, look at 1081. You have CIN 0130 02 12 2024. What are those numbers? What do they represent? Just look at it.
It's the serial number.
With a date,
Of
with
the
a date.
28, yes.
What is the date there? Which part is the date?
When you look at it, it's December 2024.
02 December 2024?
Yes.
That is the date.
No, the 12 is December 2024.
So this inquiry opens in December 2024.
Yes.
And before December 2024, there was no crime intelligence investigation broad, because you say this represents a broad crime intelligence investigation, which has many legs. So we can accept from this date that the first time that an inquiry is open and registered on your system is in fact in December 2024, and it is this broad inquiry.
When you look at the 2813, when it was authorized, 2813, in December 2024, so that's where we take our cue from, in inquiry in December 2024.
Yes, I think my question is simpler. In December 2024, in fact, let me rephrase. Does the date on this inquiry file, this reference number,
Yes.
which says December 2024, does it denote or tell me that this broad, big inquiry into crime intelligence that you're talking about, which has many legs, was open in December 2024?
December 2024.
That's what that date tells me.
Yes.
All right, thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Chair.
And I note that Commissioner Kumalo first and then Commissioner Baloyi mentioned a very interesting concept of a tea break, but before I inquire further into that, just a follow-up to Commissioner Baloyi's question to close on this subject. That CIN number, no, I'll restart. We now have come to understand that you are investigating specifically the Mokwele appointment. But that happens in the context of a broader investigation, as you say, with many legs. So we are trying to find documents pertaining to the investigations of the appointments and promotions of the General Kumalo, General Madondo, all those people listed there, correct? That's what we are now interested in, to understand that bigger investigation that you say is underway into crime intelligence,
Yes.
right? If I understand you correctly, as a guidance, that investigation will be part of that CIN number, 0130-02-12-2024.
Yes, December.
So it's all part of the same
Yes.
file.
The same, yeah, it's part of the same investigation.
Yes.
What happens is that the inquiry, the CIN, where the investigation is, that's where your 2813 document is in.
Yes, yes.
Now, all the things that initially would have been in that file, for example, now most of them will be summonses or any other attachments. It gets transferred into the docket.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
As has happened in your particular
Yes.
investigation.
So you won't find this now in a CIN file because this is the docket now.
Yes, no, I appreciate that. Remember, now we are in pursuit of this bigger investigation into crime intelligence.
Yes.
And we are trying to establish the authorization for that investigation.
Yes.
We know from your our description of the CIN number that
Yes.
it would have been initiated in December of 2024.
Yes.
And we just want to see whether, how was it, on what basis it was initiated? Was it a Section 27 affidavit, or was it a decision by the ID in terms of Section 28(1)A? Because there is no other way.
Yes.
So that you and I understand what our next step is. It's perhaps then I think, yeah, the inquiry is best addressed to Advocate Johnson as the head of the institution, and then she will direct our request and, subpoena to the right person.
Yes.
Thank you. That tea break would be more than welcome. Thank you.
Let's adjourn and resume at 10 to 5.
Thank you, Chair.